All right, good people. Welcome to Talk Tuesday, a series that's dedicated to empowering families. This is being brought to you by Steps Foundation, Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment of minds. Each month, we explore meaningful topics designed to inspire growth, spark creativity, listeners with the tools that they need to thrive. I'm Abigail Ellis, your host and executive director here at Steps Foundation. This month, we're diving into a topic that truly sits at the heart of who we are. It's celebrating family, the importance of strong relationships. Y'all, I'm sorry, I love this topic. My jam. Family really isn't just about who you share your home with. It's about who you share your life with. It's the people who support you, the people who guide you often, and the people who challenge you and stand beside you through every season. So whether it's your relatives, your chosen family, your friends, or even just mentors, these relationships help to shape your identity. They help to shape your confidence and your future. And in a world where everything moves super fast, where we're constantly pulled in different directions, it's easy to take those connections for granted. But this month, we're choosing to slow down just a little bit, be more intentional, and really reflect on the relationships that ground us and lift us up. So throughout this series, we're going to explore how to communicate better, how to show appreciation more often, and how to set healthy boundaries and build relationships rooted in trust, respect, and love. Because when our relationships are strong, we feel stronger. We start to feel more supported, understood, and then we're ready to on whatever comes our way. So let's lean into these conversations and celebrate the people who matter the most. Learn how to build connections that truly last. So I'm kind of excited for some of these questions that's coming up. But before I even dive into questions, I got to give a shout out to my sister Cassandra from Blended Hearts, who's in today as a guest. So welcome to sis.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. So
I'm so
today,
excited to be here. Thank you for having
yes,
me.
we're excited. We're excited. It's always good when we have additional people on who's like, bringing them other perspectives. We need to
Yes,
hear it.
yes.
And today's theme is really awesome because we're talking about a strong family, and I feel like there's so many people feel their families are strong. But now we're gonna kind of dive into some questions to see what that means to most people. So the first question of the night, y'all, and I feel like my team got some good answers. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Look, they're like, All right, y'all. So what does a strong family actually feel like? Not just look like. So, like, what does a strong family like?
It feels like support and like you have people there for you, like no matter what. And also being respected and like just full of love.
You should feel secure in all things. You should feel like you should have no worries talking to nobody. Like you should feel safe, loved, secure, very open. It should be a very open, and you should be able to tell like no matter what they have your back.
I love it. I love it. Do I answer too? Um, I love these answers, especially when it's coming from the youth, because you guys touch on some really good points of what makes a strong family. And it's that and even more. A strong family is a group of people that you really can depend on. They are there for you. There's no question about who is going to show up, who's going to support, who's going to hold you accountable. Um, and I just love the answers that you gave from your perspective because it's important for our youth to truly understand and know what it feels like to be a strong family. That's one of my prayers for so many children, that they not only know what it is, but they know that they are a part of one.
Y'all made that deep early. I love these answers. I agree with all of you. I feel like I don't need to add anything else more to that. I feel like strong families do feel like all of those things, like your biggest support system, your biggest cheerleader, like the people who just love on you through it all. So like no matter how bad it you feel that love, you feel that connection and that guidance. And I love all of your answers. I feel like those were like spot on. In a world where I think a lot of times, not even just youth, but sometimes even adults put a focus on having that perfect family, right? Can a family be strong even if it isn't perfect? And what does that look like?
I think it can be, but you just have to like have that communication and just like know one another and know like what each other need and just things like that.
Look, nothing in life is perfect. Perfect does not exist in any consistent human world, especially not the one that we live in, because everything and nothing is consistent at the same time. Let's be honest here. But can a family be strong without being perfect? Absolutely. We see it every day because, again, nothing can be perfect. So a strong family really looks like not only can you depend on them, but we have consistent communication. We can understand, we can have those hard conversations without feeling that judgment. We can have those we can have those tears, we can have those feelings, and we can express them openly without any feelings, our feelings, no judgment, no like um being condemned for that. Because we all know it's natural and we're here to support each other.
Awesome. I mean, you guys are just right on target with your answers. I would say that one of the biggest myths of a strong family is someone assuming that a strong family doesn't go through hard times. Like there's no arguing, there's no disagreement, there's no, sad days and things like that. I think the strongest families are those that can make it through all of those things because it's not easy being there for someone, It's not easy falling and having to depend on someone, because we live in a world where so many people can let us down. But when you have a strong family, those are the people that, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it might be, they're showing up for you, right? And so it's never really about perfection, like you said. It's about having that person that you can depend on and also playing your part in being a part of that strong family. Because we all want to be a part of a strong family, but are we playing our role as that strong family member for our other loved ones? So it's really not just about, oh, I've got my mom and my dad and my cousins and my this and being there for me, but am I the son that they need me to be? Am I the cousin? Am I the sister? Am I the parent that my children need me to be so that they too can say, I'm a part of a strong family?
I feel like we should be putting money in the collection plate already. Just collection plate up, y'all. Let me just, oh, yeah, we going deep tonight, apparently, because like I'm feeling all of this, all of this. To your point too, and I love how you said like, am I the son or the daughter that I need to be? Am I the cousin? Am I the sister or brother that I need to be? I think those are great questions that we should ask ourselves because again, like when you're in a family, it's not just a one-way thing, it's a two-way thing. And being able to communicate and be present and show up for each other is essential. So to that point, and some of the things that Abby and Lamar touched on, what do you guys feel like it means to be seen in a family? Because we often hear, and especially when it comes to youth, they don't understand me, they don't see me. They're not hearing what I have to say. So what does it feel like, or what does it even mean to truly be seen within your family?
The availability of openness, I feel like, is a big part of that because really to be seen is to be like understood and to have those people really truly support you in whatever you do and whatever you feel and to help you and guide you through whatever you're feeling, especially if it's negative or positive, and to be there with you when it is positive.
I think reassurance, like letting your child know that no matter what, you're still there for them, or even like any family member, you know what I mean? And that you'll be with them every step of the way.
Yeah, to be seen, it's a double-sided coin, right? Like to be seen, someone has to actually be looking at you. Someone actually has to be seeking you out to see you and say, "Hey, how was your day? Hey, I noticed you were a little off today. How are you feeling?" Um, and not settle for, "Hey, I'm fine. It was a good day." Follow up, ask more questions, dive in a little deeper. Um, to be seen is so valuable today because we live in a world where there's so much to see that you sometimes get caught up in the superficial that you don't focus on the real, or you get caught up in your own self and you don't consider seeing someone else in your family. And I know a lot of the youth, they struggle with this because, especially when they're going through all the changes socially, physically, emotionally, mentally, they're going through so much. And I hear a lot about them not feeling seen. My parents still think I'm a kid, or they don't think I'm old enough to do this or that. And a lot of times they're valid points. But then on the flip side, as parents, we have a challenge where we want to be seen by our children as well. Our children may not understand the reasons why we have certain boundaries, the reason why, we are saying or doing some of the things that might not make them feel good, but it's for their safety, it's for their protection. And so being seen is another mutual thing that I think is important. But it has to start from somewhere. It has to start from somewhere. And a lot of being seen, I think it's important for you to speak up. You want to be seen, you want to be heard. You have to have that confidence and feel empowered enough to say, "Hey, I'm here. I have feelings. This is what I want to say, and I want us to sit down and talk about it." So it definitely is a two-way street, but it's a very important element of a strong family where all parties involved are seen for sure.
I love these responses. Welcome, Malcolm. I see you. Uh, I definitely love these responses. Come on, brother. I see you. You can unmute.
Just saying hello, hello, hello.
I
Hello,
love
Malcolm.
it.
Look, Uncle Mal, I saw you in there. I said, "Uh-oh, he up in here." Let me go on and admit him because I already know who this is.
all I know is this means we about to have a full collection play early because Malcolm finna come give us the whole.
As if he weren't going to have that collection play early, no way. He's going to be extra early.
I'm really, really loving these answers. And so now to that point, right, as we're thinking about like family dynamics and then hearing our youth consistently saying that they don't feel like they're seen, what do you guys think are some habits that some families have that weaken the relationships over time? I know that's a tough one, right?
I think maybe like not communicating at all and just going straight to like punishment. And like, I don't know, I think it could just, it's miscommunication on both sides. Like, they don't, like the child doesn't really know exactly why it happened, and also the parent doesn't either. You know what I mean?
I kind of like that response, Abby, because I think I know a few episodes ago, or probably even like a couple months ago, when we were talking about something else. I know we brought up like generational things, and to that response, Abby, I feel like sometimes it's generational or cultural, right? Where a lot of parents feel like punishment is the direct answer. Like, okay, you heard your kid did something bad, but you're not gonna ask your kid. You're gonna take the other adult's word for it instead of having a conversation with your kid because the adult said it and it's true. And that's always not the case. So I love that you bring that up because I do think sometimes there is not enough communication too. I can agree with that, Abby. Who else got something? I love these thinking faces.
You might need to run that question back again. It's got me.
She like, come back to that. Come back to that.
Yes, 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 yes.
I'll say one thing that I've noticed that definitely weakens family relationships over time is just the lack of attentiveness.
Mhm.
And I can't say like it's anyone's fault, right? Like as we talk about like the things that are changing in the economy and in the world, even back when I was young, right? Our parents worked several jobs and where they were just not always there. And
Mhm.
now even in this environment, you have a lot of parents that are doing that same thing where they are working 2, 3, and 4 jobs to provide. And so they're just not available. And there's like, to Abby's point, like there's the lack of communication, but it's just, I'm not available to you. And I think that oftentimes ends up weakening the family dynamic within the household because there's lack of communication, there's lack of attention. You get to hear where the kids say, I'm not seen, I'm not understood, I'm not heard. But it's like nobody's seen, understood, or heard if the parent is not there, right? And I think sometimes students will take it personally, but to a parent, it's like, I'm trying to provide for you. Like, this is what I have to do in order to make sure you have the things that you need, especially the essentials. So I feel like a lot of times because there's not conversations behind while you're working those 2 and 3 jobs, it weakens that dynamic, it weakens the relationship and the understanding, and even just finding a way to
Mhm.
take time and
Yeah.
say, I'm spending these hours with you and you alone, and nothing and nobody else is going to get in the way of that. I think that's so important, even like in our busy day to day.
What I love that because when you were talking about, what can weaken the family in in the realm that I work in, I think the part that strengthens what brings a family to me is the fact that they're coming to learn, they're coming to
Right.
elevate and get out of the space that they're in. I'm dealing with parents that are going through divorce, parents that are separating, single moms, dads that are seeking more time with their children, dads that, or moms that don't know how to navigate this new normal because what things used to be is not what it is currently. And so part of what will continue to weaken a family is not, I would even say, humbling ourselves, all parties involved, to say, look, I need help. And I'm gonna read up on this topic. I'm gonna, talk to a friend that has already gone through it. Or I'm gonna simply ask my ex, what can I do to help? Like what is it that you're feeling that's keeping me from showing up the way that you need me to, the way that our children needs us to? Um, and I know in a nucleus of a family, because families look so different today than what was, televised, in past generations. But even in a core family, parents, mom, dad, and oh, I muted by mistake. If we're not careful about continuing to grow within that, what was once a strong family can become a lot of weak links. You know what I mean? A lot of things that are happening that will weaken the family. So we really have to. I like how we asked the question earlier about being seen. We want to make sure that all parties are being seen and heard, and also evolving and growing because with time comes change, and we can't just stay the same. We can have the same quality, like, hey, I can always depend on my dad, but the way that he shows up for us, it has to grow with us, right? I can always depend on my wife, but your wife is going to have to grow with you as you're growing through the family, and it goes through the extended family too. The role of grandma has changed quite a bit. Grandmas are playing moms now, grandmas are going through another stage of raising. And so if those grandmas didn't, elevate and grow and evolve with what was needed, how weak would that family be, if we didn't just step up and learn to adjust and just be there the way our family members need us to be. Did you say boom on the mute?
Look, and I feel like a part of that is what weakens a family is a lack of self-accountability and a lack of like self-awareness, especially because if you can't check yourself and you can't look within yourself, how do you expect to look within your children and within other family members? Because I've been saying this a lot, but like, if you can't help yourself, how do you help others? So I feel like a lot of the problems is because the parents are struggling. They bring a lot of the family that depend on them down with them. But it's just like you said, Cassandra, a lot of them refuse to get help because they want to keep going and they refuse to acknowledge that problem, which is not only a them issue, I feel like it's also a part of that lack of communication because sometimes it's like a lot of the family isn't doing anything to try to get them that help or try to push that help out to them. But I also understand that sometimes those people are just so stubborn and so lacking of self-awareness that they don't reach out to that help or they refuse that help. So that's definitely a large part of what weakens that.
Listen, I feel like I should just go and put the gold bar in the plate. But I love this because Lamar, that went right back to Cassandra and humility. When she brought that part up, and I'm like, I see where this is going. I hear it. I hear it. I love how y'all rounded that out. Because y'all ready for this next one? I'm sorry in advance.
Bring it. We ready, bring it.
We ready.
So hearing all of that, right? And we understand like there's sometimes the lack of accountability, the lack of communication. What do y'all feel is the one conversation that families avoid, but they shouldn't?
Why are we here? Or even better, what patterns made us the family we are? Because a lot of that goes down to the patterns that generations ago and generations ago were formed, and a lot of them never broke them. They kept the tradition going. And I feel like one of the most common patterns, but also one of the most damaging patterns that families hold on to is abuse. Let that be in any form. And those patterns are not only so damaging to the generations that go through them, but the generations after them, because that cycle will continue until someone has the self-awareness to go get that help and break that pattern.
Y'all make me feel like the key term of tonight is self-awareness. I love that. That's a great point, Lamar.
So just to add to it, if I was to answer off the top of my head, I would say the one thing that's missing is the understanding of timing. We put our time just from whoever's the head all the way down to the child, and we can just say, if it's the father, he puts more time into work, so he puts more time into his family work crew, right? His work crew becomes his true family because you talk to them, you hang out with them, you do what you need. Then it just trickles down to the kids knowing, say, well, dad doesn't have time for me. So they put their time into video games or their friends. So now the one thing that's missing amongst the whole family is time amongst each other. And now we can't emotionally be connected. So that's why we come into the house arguing. That's why we have a disconnect. The father can't get along with the mother or the kids, and everybody's just all over the place. Even though on the outside, people looking in and they love the family, but on the inside, it's just hell. So timing, understanding where to place your time with your family, your real family compared to your work family, your school family, your homegirls, wherever it is. I feel like we don't talk about that too often, and it's very, very important. We just go with the emotions of life, and we feel like, oh, I'm providing, I need to do this. But to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, comes before oh, so I can't provide if I'm not present. So we need to be present. Yes, it's great to make sure as long as I have a roof and you're eating, but let me be present. You need my time more than you need these gifts. You need my time more than you need all these other things. If I can be here with my time, you'll remember that more than you remember me just taking you to the pool today, or me buying you a Game Boy or whatever. I feel like timing is the main thing that we miss in our family.
Malcolm, that was amazing. I think I want to add to what you said that, about being present and everything, the quality of your presence, right? Because one can be physically present and still not be present. You can be a parent that is physically in the home and your child does not even feel your presence in the home. And same thing with your partner. A lot of couples, when they end up down that road of separation and this is not working out, it's not that the person is physically absent from the home. It's you could be laying in the same bed with them, having dinner on the same table, and you feel like you're alone. And so the quality of time is so important to your point, and it's vital to keep the family going, to keep the family existing. Good points.
Well, y'all really didn't come to play tonight. I see. Okay. See where this going, y'all.
So you thought this was some fun and games tonight when we talk about family?
Listen, look,
We don't
I
play
should have
about our
known
family,
better after
okay?
last month. Look, 'cause y'all was killing it last month. But
Look, and you thought this month would be any different?
I don't know. I felt like we was gonna be a little lighter, but look, I'm like, y'all like,
Why would you ever think that?
I don't know.
Abigail, if I could just give my answer to the question before you, because I feel like you're about to pivot to the next question. Am I right? Or
oh,
are we
you
still on the
already know. Come on.
okay. If I could add, because your question touched on, a question that we can ask, right? Is that what it was?
Mhm.
I think a pivotal question that we can ask, and there's different ways of asking it depending on who you're talking to, the age and all of that, is wanting to tap into um not just what will make you feel better about the family, but what brings you pain when it comes to our family? What saddens you? What is it that you feel we can improve on in this family? And it could be talking to little Timmy who's walking around, moping, or maybe from an adult perspective, he's having challenges with some things in the family. Just simply sitting down, hey, how do you feel about our family? Simply asking, how do you feel about our family? And follow and encouraging them to um, dive in deeper. Like, here's why I ask. It could have been the other day you had to go with so and so, and you didn't seem excited about that. Tell me why. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? The way you frame these questions, it finally can make that person feel like, wow, they noticed. They see me. And not only asking the question, but providing a safe place for them to answer, being open to receive the answer. Because to your surprise, you might be the problem. You might be a part of what is making that person sad. It's real. I've had conversations with my children where I was like, okay, let me sit down and take it. What can I do to make it better? What is it that you were hoping I could say? How were you hoping I would handle that? What was I missing? What didn't I consider? All of these things, but it starts with being open to ask the question and being ready to receive the answer and not be defensive about it, not respond in a way where they're going to shut back down and regret that the question even came up, you know? So, um, just asking that question that'll touch on the pain points because a strong family is, again, like we said earlier, is not about being perfect. It's not all about smiles and fun and games. It's about dealing with the real. And sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's something that we want to choose to avoid. But if we do, we're continuing to allow the family to weaken when what we want to do is to strengthen it by tackling the challenges that we're faced with.
I love, love, love that answer. That touches on that vulnerability, being able to sit in a room and be vulnerable as an adult with your child, or even with nieces and nephews, or even little cousins, being able to be vulnerable and allowing them to be vulnerable with you. Mhm. So because of that syndrome, yep. Now, what role does vulnerability play in building family strength?
It allows people to actually be honest. Because look, we can say so many things, but is it really true? We can want to fix so many problems in the family, but is it truly a problem? These are the questions we need to ask because we can say a million things about a family, but the real question is, are they true? How true is that statement? How true are these problems? Because when we get to the root cause of that problem, that's really where we're fixing it. We have to work our way down into the root. Or if you're in the root of that family, work your way up. Because when you work on that, that's what's going to actually fix the issues, or not fix, but improve upon those issues, and what's going to help provide a safe space for that. Because vulnerability is truly your solution. It's your bar of improvement. So vulnerability is your criticism. Because criticism, true criticism, constructive criticism, without attacking other people and without judgment, is what's really going to shape those family bonds and those strong families.
I think it also allows for understanding and for there to be empathy, like on both sides, and just for like them to figure out a solution to if there's a problem or anything like that.
Awesome. I think I would just add that vulnerability humanizes all the parties that are willing to be vulnerable and open up, especially when you're dealing with the dynamics of, parent versus child, or even both adults sometimes, especially in traditional roles. You have the head of the household, and then you might be a stay-at-home mom or something like that, where culturally speaking or socially speaking, there's a hierarchy in the home. But being vulnerable really does humanizes that person, and it helps open up the doors to reciprocate and obtain honest, genuine conversation. Um, it's a very powerful thing if we just open up and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, because you can still be the king of the castle, you can still be the lady of the land, and still run things, or you can still be the child and still be respected as a human being, if you allow your children to be vulnerable and open with you, if you allow yourself to be vulnerable with your child, you know. I think my daughters, they really appreciate the fact that through our challenges as a family over the years, I've always been honest with them, age appropriately honest. And it allowed them to see me as not as a super mom, but it allowed them to see me as a woman that is going through this particular challenge with my children. And up until today, their thank you is not just you know, like an auto response when you give them something. Thank you, mom. There's a depth in their thank you where I know they get it. And when I have to say no about something, it's not a tantrum like, oh man, I can't get it. There's an understanding. Look, I know mom is trying her best. I know mom is saving up for this, and this is why we can't get that. And my no's are not just no's. I can't do it right now, but here's when I can do it. Like I try not to just talk at them, but I try to make them feel like they're a part of the conversation. A lot of people can't do that because they don't want to appear like I can't do it or I fell short. They wanted those pairs of sneakers, but a lot of us we try to have that facade where we want to just appear a certain way because we feel that's what we should do. That's what we learned growing up ourselves. But especially with this generation, I find that this is definitely the time where we want to be vulnerable, especially if we want them to be vulnerable with us. Sometimes we feel we're so disconnected to the youth that if we just kind of pull back the curtains a little bit more on ourselves, that will allow them to come in and be a little bit closer to us. Like, wow, I didn't know that about mom. I didn't know that about dad, about auntie. Wow, grandma, really? Share some stories, like really allow yourself to relate to that person no matter where they're at because we all have a story that they'll understand and it'll cause a bond to form and to make you even stronger. So um vulnerability is so key on a lot of these different levels.
So I love what you said 100%. And it takes me back to, and I think I said this last year on here. My father always told me, he's like, son, we're different in position, but we're equal in worth. And when you were saying, hey, the head of the house, the lady of the lands, those things are great. But when it comes to vulnerability, our worth is equal. The equality is there. So once we can come on that equal le level playing field, right, we can actually have a conversation to really, really find a solution instead of saying, well, I run this house, I do this. That's where the tension comes. So vulnerability opens the door for a successful outcome once you allow it. So when you said that, that got me hyped. I had to do something with my hands for a little bit because I was like, oh my goodness, she done hit it on the head.
I love it. Thanks for that feedback. And I love what you had to add on to it. I've never heard it that way, but for amen. Are we past in the collection? Are we still?
Y'all
I see
don't
some
put
gold.
gold bars in the collection plate
I
now.
see that. I was
I'm
like,
just saying,
shoot,
look, we
pass it
done made
my
it to gold
way.
bar sales. Nigga.
Look, Uncle Malcolm, I just want you to know I still use that to this day. I
Yes.
done had to use that quite a bit, actually.
He definitely do. I love this. I love this. And so now we've kind of talked about like vulnerability. We kind of talked about like accountability and we done tapped into like self-reflection and all of that. So now y'all help me with how can families now rebuild connections after growing like distant from each other? Because we know like so many families have distant families, even when it comes to like mothers, daughters, and sons, or fathers and sons and daughters, there becomes distant relationships. So how can families now rebuild some of those connections after growing distant over time?
Be willing to listen. I'm just talking about no one-off conversation in which we talk about something. No, like truly listen to them, like ask them a question that you haven't like you've wanted to ask them. Like an actual question that means something that's going to require thought and effort. Because when you listen to them, that's going to not only help you, but like be willing to receive that answer and whatever it is. Because I feel like that's another really big problem. A lot of people in families are not ready to receive that hard answer. So sometimes you have to put your ego to the side and just be willing to accept the answer and for what it is, because truly that could help you and a lot of other people in the family grow and come together as a whole instead of so many separate branches.
I would say intentionality, being intentional about what you do. Understanding if, say, if you're the individual trying to make a difference, understanding who you're going to talk to. Just because you, kind of like Lamar was saying, just because you feel a certain type of way, you don't know what that person, that the energy that they bring. So be prepared for what's to come. Understand that a soft answer or a soft response sometimes breaks down barriers and walls. So be intentional of what you do. Schedule it, right? Just to give tasks that if someone's watching, sometimes we're like, oh, I can do this, but we don't do it because we're like, our life gets busy, quotations. No, schedule it. Put it in your phone. We put everything else in our phone. When we go on the Chris Brown concert, we go all this other stuff we put in our phone. We put in our phone, but if we really want to open that door to love again and being with our loved ones and having that connection, be intentional. All right, May 7th at 12 p.m. I'm going to call Abby, and me and Abby going to have a 5-minute conversation, and I'm going to just talk to her and just have a just, hey, how you doing? Where are you mentally? Everything, boom, great. And I won't push the issue too much because sometimes we may be overbearing. We need to be family, and that can push someone away. No, take your time. Take your time. Just what it's easy to break something, but hard to mend it. Give it time to mend back. So take your time.
What I was going to share, and I think it goes well with what you just spoke on, Malcolm, is that Abigail, the hardest part is that question. Where do we start? Like, where do we go from here, right? And this is not for the families that are rocking and yeah, we're on it. We're a strong family already, right? This is for the family that my kid is always locked up in their room. They're always in the video games. I don't remember the last time I had a conversation with my partner, or I'm alone and I don't, I alienated myself from my mom or whatever, because the family dynamics is not just the nucleus, it's that extended family as well. You could have a sibling that you were two peas in a pod growing up, and now you guys barely see each other if it wasn't for a family event. Um, I always tell these people that start small. Start small. It could be a call. It could be a quick text. It could be something that you want to reminisce on, like, oh, I remember when we used to play these toys, and like how we flash back to some things that we did back in the day, and no matter who it came from, it brings up that smile, right? Any little thing to crack that door open to get it going. But making those gestures intentional, having a follow-up, it could be like, hey babe, you doing anything? Let's go for a walk. That's out the blue. Oh, okay. Let's go for a walk. And while you're out there in the scenic area, whatever, just let it flow. A lot of these things don't have to be scripted. They don't have to be, what do I say? And what if they say this back or whatever? Just have the rules that you set in place for yourself, that no matter what, I'm going to listen more than talk, right? I think that's a very important thing, to allow yourself to listen more than talk, because you want to hear, you're there because you want to know what we can do to improve things. And there's no way you're going to find out if you're talking over them, at them, through them, and trying to push your point. We know what our point is. We're trying to figure out where they're coming from and seeing if we can, meet somewhere, right? When it comes to your kids, oh, child, my kids love it when I start dropping the lingo, you know, I don't even know what to call it, but you know, when they're using these words and they be like, oh no, mom, no, you didn't say that or whatever. They love it when I speak their language, when I pick up on how they say things, when I jump up and do a dance that, you know, that's trending that I see them do all the time, when I do things that's relatable to them. Like really allow yourself to dive into their worlds and invite them into yours, you know? My kids know I love drama shows or whatever. It's not something I share with them, but out the blue, hey, Ma, did you hear about this show? Really? Word? Thanks for putting me on. You know, like just find little things that will connect you in different ways. But if you're already over here, it just takes a little bite, just a little something. Hey guys, I wanna make a meal, you know, this Sunday. You know, is everyone going to be available? Let's just sit down and have a meal. Let's catch up. Just start small, start somewhere. But when you do start, keep it going, be intentional and reflect on it. Hey, how'd y'all feel about that dinner? Hey, babe, how did you feel about the walk? I'd really like to do that again with you. You know, hey, Sarah, I noticed you're really into Hello Kitty. How about we, you know, there's a store in the mall. How about we go and do something? You know, just keep it going. And you'll find that as you're doing these activities, and that's what I'm big on, finding activities that you all can do together and using those opportunities to tap into the tough conversations. Because sometimes we need a buffer. It's hard for me to pull Malcolm and say, Malcolm, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. We going through some things. I need to talk to you. We got to sit down and have a meeting. We got to talk. You know, when if me and Malcolm are family and when, you know, we're in this thing, I think that would cause them to be like, he's gonna come in like, here we go. She's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like his guard is gonna be up, you know? But hey, Malcolm, how was your day? You know, how was your day? Things are good. I was thinking maybe we can meet up and have some drinks, you know, on such and such day. Are you available? He would never see that coming, right? Like, we don't ever do drinks or whatever, like, what, you know, or let's go for dinner. Or if you're talking to your son, hey, I heard such and such is in town at a, you know, a basketball game or something. You want to go see them play? What? They mad open, wide open. So I think it's awesome for us to think outside the box, put ourselves in positions to set the stage for these conversations to happen, right? But they don't have to happen right now. You can build up. You can build up and soften it up. Set the stage to where you never know the conversation might come to you, but you've already been in preparation mode for it.
I
But
love
a lot of times it's about your approach and your strategy. I don't think people realize that there is a true strategy behind this. And that's the missing link that we have when it comes to building a strong family.
The progress is a process. We better use it.
progress is a process. Come on now.
You're dropping them gems. Oh, you see that? Oh my God. I said it and I just sort of
The minute you said about using lingo,
looked
Lamar made a face at you. He was like, please don't get her started. No cap.
Oh no, I was making a face at you because I already know how
Oh,
you
no,
be
I
doing.
know you was making that face at me. Because I know you was like, please don't do it. Don't do it. It's
just like,
okay.
oh Lord.
It's all right. We giving main character tonight. I love it. All right, y'all. We're gonna do lightning round. We're gonna do lightning round. Okay. So this is that. Y'all gonna come with that fast answer. Okay. I know. Cassandra's like, okay. And I know y'all got it in you. How can families celebrate individuality while still staying connected?
Understand boundaries, please. Oh, and also like make it a tradition so that it's not only a constant, but y'all have the date and the time and it's a constant thing. So we don't have to plan in advance. We already have the planning.
recognizing and celebrating what makes each of us different, you know, personalities and things like that, like whatever it might be, like let's recognize that in the person and celebrate that. I think that will really go a long way.
I'm not sure if he said this, but like understanding each person in their own way and kind of like a mix of both, but not like being a certain way to someone just because you don't agree or, like just knowing each other for who you are.
First time ever, I have nothing. They hit every nail on the head. I've never been so speechless in my life. I was like, and every time someone came on, I was like, okay, I can't say that. So, what everybody said on here. How about that?
Ditto.
See what they said.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. I love it. I hear you, Mal. I hear you. And I'm not even mad at that. Look, because I'm over here like the same. I ain't got nothing to add on to none of that. Y'all did that. This was a great episode. So, before we wrap up today's conversation, we want to take a moment to highlight the voices of our young leaders who are putting these ideas into action in so many different powerful ways. So this month we're talking about like family, what it means to be connected, to be supported and feel understood. And one thing that we know is that strong relationships don't just happen. They're built with intention. And I know y'all heard a lot of that tonight. They're built with intention, they're built with care, and it always starts with real conversations. So our youth program ambassadors are leading the way by creating spaces where those conversations can happen, where spaces are centered around connection, healing, and growth. So I'm going to pass it over to one of our incredible youth program ambassadors so that they can share what they are working on and how you and your families can get involved.
Here we go. All right. What's up? It's Lamar, the youth program ambassador for Stats Foundation, and I want to talk to y'all about something that's real. It's gonna be real, especially this month, because we talking about family, connections, and what it really means to have strong relationships with them. But here's the truth: you can't just build strong relationships if you're not taking care of yourself first. You build off what you want. How you feel affects how you show up, how you think affects how you communicate, especially to your loved ones, and how you process things affects how you connect with others, like especially the people you're close with. And this is why this next event we doing is something y'all can't miss. We doing a mental health initiative called the Green Space Virtual Panel on May 15th at 6 p.m. This ain't just another event. This is a real conversation. We're bringing together voices that matter to talk about mental health in real life, how to manage stress, emotions, and pressure, especially with these teens coming up, because testing, how to build healthier relationship with yourself and others, because we talking about family, build that relationship with your family. And this is not only your space to listen, but to learn and be heard. Look, y'all. Y'all can register at www.studsfoundation.org/events. But hurry up, look, tickets is limited. Don't wait. And while you stepping into growth this month, don't miss what we have coming up. On May 18th at 6 p.m., we got a virtual teen program open house. And then on the 19th at 6 p.m., we have the in-person teen program open house. Come see how y'all can get involved, build leadership skills, and be a part of something bigger at Stats Foundation. After that, we have on May 21st at noon, virtual QPR training. Learn how to recognize and respond to someone in crisis. You could save somebody's life. On May 23rd at 10 a.m., the youth mental health first aid training. Get certified and learn how to support youth experiencing mental health challenges. And on May 31st, at 6 to 8 p.m., Skate Reflections fundraiser. Fun, music, skating, and a chance to connect with the community while supporting a great cause. Connections start with you. So take that step, show up, and get involved because your growth, your voice, and your mental health matter.
Come on, young man. I hear you. as we wrap up for tonight, again, we're having these conversations on celebrating family, we want to leave you with this. Family isn't about getting everything right. It's about simply being there. It's about showing up with love, even on the hard days. It's about choosing to stay connected, even when it feels easier to pull away. The relationships we build, nurture, and invest in today become the foundation for who we are tomorrow. This month, we're going to continue to talk about what makes families strong, how to bridge differences, how to heal through conflict, and how traditions and values help shape our legacies. And through it all, one truth will always remain. The love, support, and connection that we create within our families have the power to shape generations. So take a moment to appreciate the people who stand beside you. Reach out, say thank you, start the conversation, because the smallest moments of connection often become the biggest memories. Keep in mind, family isn't just something that you're born into. It's something that you help build every single day. So closing out, I'm Abigail Ellis, and it's been an honor sharing this journey with you tonight. So thank you guys for being part of Talk Tuesday. Remember, the power of positivity is always within you. So until next time, stay strong, stay curious, stay true to yourself, stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep leading the way. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.